Have you ever watched a marksman stand safely behind the front line, raining down damage from afar, while enemies desperately try to close the gap? That's Luban No.7, and when played right, he's absolutely terrifying. He's not just another ADC who sits quietly farming and waiting for a chance. Luban is a poke machine, a zone controller, and a teamfight powerhouse all in one package. His rapid fire bursts and skill combos don't just nibble away at health bars, they shred them, forcing enemies to think twice before stepping into his range. Whether you're zoning foes, setting up kills for your teammates, or controlling objectives, Luban commands the battlefield from a safe distance with brutal precision. In this guide, I'll take you through everything you need to know to master Luban, from farming and poking in lane to positioning perfectly in team fights and dominating every stage of the game. And hey, if this sounds like the kind of gameplay you want to bring to your ranked matches, hit that subscribe button. We're pushing hard to hit 2,000 subs, and your support means more guides, giveaways, and all the ways to climb the ladder in honor of kings. So, who exactly is Luban No.7? He's a ranged marksman who thrives in the farm lane, specializing in high burst damage and consistent ranged harassment. What makes him stand out is his unique passive that transforms every fifth attack into a rapid triple shot burst, and that burst hurts. Each hit deals physical damage plus a chunk based on the enemy's max health, making Luban incredibly effective against tanks and bruisers. Even without flashy mobility, his damage and zoning power force enemies to respect his presence and rethink their positioning. Let's dig into his kit. Luban's passive, called Suppressive Fire, is the heart of his damage. After every fifth basic attack, or the very next basic attack following a skill, Luban unleashes a rapid fire burst that hits enemies 3 times in quick succession. Each of those hits dishes out physical damage and also burns a percentage of the enemy's maximum health. This means Luban isn't just good at chipping away at squishy targets, he's also a nightmare for tanky foes. The key to maximizing your damage output is to stack this passive consistently during fights, weaving your basic attacks and skills seamlessly so you're constantly triggering those triple hit bursts. His first skill, Blowfish Grenade, lets you lob a grenade that explodes on impact, dealing solid physical damage and slowing enemies by up to 50% for 2 seconds. It's your main tool for poking and controlling enemy movement. When used well, it can soften up opponents or prevent them from diving onto you or your teammates. Whether in lane or during fights, you want to keep throwing these grenades to keep enemies on their toes. Next up is Shark Cannon, Luban's second skill. This fires a rocket that knocks back enemies and deals damage based on how much health they've already lost. With global range, it's perfect for harassing enemies across the map or finishing off low-health targets who think they're safe. It's a versatile tool in your kit, useful for lane pressure and team fights alike, but timing and aim matter, so don't waste it. Then we have Luban's ultimate, Air Support. This skill calls in a blowfish airship that hovers above the battlefield for 14 seconds, dropping bombs every second on enemies in the designated area. Each bomb deals damage and slows enemies, creating massive zone control that forces opponents to reposition or suffer heavy punishment. The downside is it takes a moment to set up, so you need to be mindful of your positioning before unleashing it. But when used correctly, it can dictate the flow of team fights and secure objectives by keeping enemies out of key areas. Now, let's talk about the combo and skill progression. Your goal in fights is to use your skills to poke and set up those powerful passive bursts. Start by throwing your Blowfish Grenade to slow and soften enemies, then follow up with basic attacks to build up your passive stacks quickly. Once you've got some stacks, use Shark Cannon to deliver burst damage and knock enemies back, disrupting their formation. During team fights, you want to be firing basic attacks constantly between skills to keep triggering that triple hit passive burst. It's where most of your damage comes from, so mastering this weaving of skills and attacks is essential. When it comes to leveling up skills, prioritize maxing out Blowfish Grenade first. Its damage and slow duration improve with each level, making it your primary harassment and zoning tool. After that, put points into Shark Cannon to boost its damage and knockback effects. And of course, upgrade your ultimate whenever you can. It's a game changer for controlling fights and objectives. So, how do you build Luban? Start with Boots of Dexterity to increase your attack speed and mobility, both crucial to keeping up the pressure and staying alive. Next, get Shadow Ripper, which adds attack damage, cooldown reduction, and a passive burst perfect for Luban's rapid-fire playstyle. Follow that with Eternity Blade, which amplifies your burst damage and attack speed even more. Bloodweeper is your lifesteal and survivability core, helping you stay in fights longer. In the late game, Starbreaker and Pure Sky help maximize your critical hit chance and attack speed while giving you important defensive stats, keeping you relevant and durable when fights get intense. Arcana choices are also important. Load up on Calamity and Hunt to boost your attack and critical hit potential. A dash of Mutation and Beast Scar adds sustain and cooldown reduction so you can spam your skills more often. And your common skill? Flash. It's an absolute must for Luban. Since he lacks mobility, Flash is your only escape and reposition tool, letting you survive dives and stay in the fight longer. Now, let's walk through Luban's gameplay flow across early, mid, and late game. Early on, your focus is farming safely and poking with your Blowfish Grenade in basic attacks. Luban doesn't have built-in escapes, so overextending is dangerous. Use your grenades slow to keep enemies at a distance and always watch your minimap for ganks. Farming well here sets you up for a strong mid-game. By mid-game, you should start participating more actively in fights. Your air support ultimate becomes a powerful zoning tool to control key objectives like dragon or towers. Use Shark Cannon to poke or finish off weakened enemies while your team dives in. Coordination and timing are key to maximizing your impact here. Late game is where positioning truly matters. You need to stay closely behind your front line, firing away to keep stacking those passive triple hit bursts. Your job is constant pressure. Chip away at enemies and let your teammates handle divers and threats. One well-timed ultimate combined with your passive bursts can decimate entire teams and swing fights in your favor. Since Luban lacks mobility, he relies heavily on teammates who can protect and peel for him. That's why heroes like Agudo are such perfect partners. Agudo's crowd control and frontline presence create the safe space Luban needs to unleash his damage without fear. Lien Po is another great ally, bringing durability and control skills that shield Luban from assassins and divers. When your teammates protect you effectively, you can focus on stacking your passive and raining down damage relentlessly. But of course, no hero is without counters. Luban's biggest weakness is being caught out of position. Assassins like Prince of Lanniling and Li Bai can close the gap fast and delete him before he even reacts. Other marksmen with better mobility or poke, like Marco Polo or Garo, can outmaneuver or outrange Luban, reducing his zoning power. When facing Luban, spreading out during his air support ultimate and saving crowd control for when he tries to stack passive bursts are your best strategies to disrupt him. When you're on the other side of that matchup, facing Luban, the biggest thing to remember is never get caught under his air support ultimate. That zone quickly becomes a damage nightmare, with bombs raining down relentlessly. You've got to stay sharp, moving unpredictably to dodge his skills and break his rhythm. Because Luban's power comes from chaining passive bursts, your best bet is to dive him quickly before he can get going. Crowd control and quick burst damage will help you shut him down early and keep his damage output in check. To sum it all up, Luban No.7 is a marksman who thrives on ranged poke, consistent passive bursts, and smart positioning. He's deadly when protected and played smart. With the right combos and builds, he can dominate lanes and team fights alike, controlling the battlefield from afar and punishing mistakes with punishing bursts of damage. If you enjoyed this guide, drop a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe. We're chasing 2,000 subs and dropping new hero guides every week. Got a favorite hero you want me to cover? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Now go make Luban proud on the battlefield. Goodbye.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain. Godlike. Retreat. Your team has destroyed a turret. You have slain an enemy.